Alright, y'all. This is Joe from Ohio Buck Outdoors here, shooting our first OBOisode. I'm here with pro staffer Matt Dehart.
How you doing?
He is our turkey thug. He knows everything there is about turkey hunting to me. Also with calling. He's very good at calling. He's taught me everything I know, and hopefully what we show today he can teach you. First off, we're going to demonstrate a couple calls. Matt's going to start off with the yelp. Now, I think he's going to start off with a diaphragm by Primo's.
So what we have here is the Primo's Hook series. This is my personal favorite. To each his own on a mouth call. What I recommend is you go out and you try out mouth calls and you get the one that fits your mouth best. And that's why you're going to get the best sound. It might be expensive at first, but when you find the one, you got her. So what you want to do, you'll notice the latex is different color on this one. I don't know if you can see it from there, but you got the bottom green and you got the top black. And the top is your cut. You want that at the top of your mouth. What you do is you put it in your mouth. And what I like to do is, you see old Phil Robertson on duck calls, you feel your tongue go up and down 2 times. Well, with the turkey, it's the same thing, but you want to have your tongue go up 1 time. So like duh or tuh, any sound that gives you that tongue up and down drop, and you want to drop your jaw. Don't hold your mouth shut. I'll show you what the difference is. But here's just your basic yelp. And you'll see my mouth is moving. Never like this. There's just no realism. And that's a yelp on a diaphragm. I mean, it's going to take you a while. It's one of the hardest calls to learn, but when you learn it, it's good. And kill a lot of gobblers that way.
Don't they say with a mouth diaphragm too that you actually get more realism out of it?
Exactly.
And you have less movement out of it because you don't have your hands moving down here, and the turkey can catch that because they have such great eyesight.
Exactly. It's one of them calls. The reason I like to do a mouth call when I was younger, turkey hunting with a pot call and stuff. Truth be told, pot call is my favorite call, but I've been busted by a lot of gobblers just up front, and they see me with that call down low. So the sooner you learn a mouth call, the better you're going to be in the turkey woods.
Oh yeah.
And box call, I don't care for a box call, but you know what? It's a great learner's call. But a simple yelp on that, I mean, you could hold it like this. You could hold it like this. There's whatever way is comfortable. And it varies for me on different days. On this, I'm just gonna, you don't want to put any pressure. Just like that. This is weighted so that you're gonna get your yelp sound. You just want to drag it. And you never ever pull that off like that. You just and it's cut and dry how to yelp on a box. And what we have here is a pot call, my favorite call personally. And this is a zinc powered hand off their Thunder Ridge series. I just bought this call, and I'll tell you what, I love it. It's beautiful sounds. And what you do with a pot call to yelp is you just drag it. You want to have firm like you're writing, That's how much you want to be pressing down. You just want to go. It has a lot of rasp in it. You just, as I get towards the end of my call, you notice I'm getting louder. See, beginning to end. And that's pretty much all the calls. We got a couple different variations of pot calls. What do you want me to do with that?
We got glass over slate here that I bought up at the Field and Stream Deer and Turkey Expo up in Columbus last year. And this call here It's got great sound and great pitch and everything with it for yelping, cutting, everything. It's really good with. Here's a demonstration. And then on the bottom side, there's a little spot where you can get to the slate part too and call off the slate if you want. And that secondary noise here that you heard me doing there is what they call a cut.
Yeah.
And Matt can demonstrate that also with a mouth diaphragm, which he's really good at. And there's several cadences that you can do with the cut. You never want to stay in rhythm. You always want to vary it because you don't want that gobbler to get used to what you're doing out there. You want to switch it up all the time.
Oh yeah. You know, I mean, like you said, a cut. You know, like this is one of the first pot calls I ever owned for myself. It's the Turkey Thugs rim shot, and you know, it's just a simple wood striker system, and it's an old slate call, and you know, cut. All you do is you just press down real hard and you just pop it. You know, and don't worry about this whole. I mean, that's going to come in handy down the road with a real old Tom. He's going to hear that. He's going to be ready. But, you know, just if you can pull out one of these. You know, just real slow. It don't have to be like that real fast, but that is good, let me tell you. On a box, my favorite way to cut on a box is hold your thumb right there, and you ain't really putting no pressure on this paddle. All you're really doing is holding it down. It's kind of at it, and you put a little bit of pressure. And all you're gonna do is just you're just tapping, you know, and that's a good call for a box call. But I'm getting to my pride and joy here. All I'm gonna do to cut is I say putt. You just go put, and it's gonna sound like this. I'm gonna throw it in with some yelps.
You're also gonna feel your diaphragm and stomach and everything tighten up. If you don't feel that tighten up, you're not gonna get a very good cut out of that diaphragm.
Good cut, yeah, exactly. You cut from your diaphragm. And that's a cut on a diaphragm. It's just more realistic, and you know, a diaphragm is, like I said in the beginning, you know, it's one of my favorite calls. I will always have one of these in my mouth. I might be running a pot call, but I'm gonna have this in my mouth.
Just in case you have that unexpected gobbler there and you don't need that extra hand movement, you need to be right on the call and fast.
Exactly, and you know, you just on the side of your mouth, it don't bother you none. You know, I mean, it's like chewing gum, or just don't chew it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I mean, and with a, I don't mean to get off track here, but with a mouth call, you can do so many different calls. Like you can do your purr, your purr pop, do your fly down cackle with your tree up. I'll throw that all in. And do your kiki. I mean, you can do that with all these too, but you see me when I have my hand like that, usually when I'm hunting, it's more like this. need my hand there. I do that to throw the sound, so to say. All right, sorry to get off track.
And also there, when he was doing the purr and everything, there's 2 different ways that you can do it. You can either roll your tongue. Some people can do it that way, and other people just roll their lips together. You just almost, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, just blow air out your lips and let them roll together. And once you do that, you can get the purr down.
Yeah.
And then with the key run that he was doing there, you kind of want to put more tongue pressure when you say on the call. Allow the air to flow across it real tight and get a real high pitch, and then followed by a couple yelps.
Yeah. And one thing I found with the key, if you can get a call that's too small for your mouth, don't throw that call away. Use that for your key, and it'll do it a lot better because you can. It just works better.
You can hold it in your mouth probably.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so much smaller.
Yep.
But now we'll get into hunting tactics. And Matt's here, a big run and gun guy.
I love it.
If that Tom ain't coming to him, he's going to it. And one thing that he said the other day to me on the phone was be aggressive, like what cheerleaders used to say.
You always hear that cheer at the game. You know, be aggressive, be aggressive. You know, I feel like that's how you should turkey hunt, man. I mean, we're out there for the gobble. You know, I mean, everybody loses sight on the big old Tom, long beard, spurs. You know, I've had Toms come in quiet on me, and I've had a Jake come in gobbling. I take the Jake. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I love an aggressive turkey. I hunt a turkey because I want to hear that gobble. I want to interact with that turkey. That's, to me, that's what has my heart and soul in the turkey woods.
That's one reason why I enjoy it so much, because you're actually out there communicating with them and talking to them. You're speaking their language.
Yeah.
You're not just out there talking like a human being. You're speaking the turkey language. If they come in, then you talk the right tone to that turkey. You spoke his language to get him to come in.
It's a science. It really is.
All right, Matt, if you want to go ahead and describe what a run and gun is to you, let's go ahead and describe it. That way people know, because a run and gun is more of where, say that gobbler is henned up somewhere, or he ain't breaking to come to you. What you're wanting to do is you're wanting to pick up and get as close as that Tom as you can.
Yeah. Well, let me start out by saying this: you gotta know your terrain. You gotta do your homework, and you gotta know your birds, and you gotta know everything. You gotta be prepared to do it. See, these Avion X's, they're awesome. This full strut here, this is mine. These are Joe's, this is mine. I might take this to the woods 3 or 4 times at the most. What I'm running with is Primos PhDs. And the simple reason is because I set up in the morning. I don't plan to sit there long if that turkey's not coming to me. I want to be able to get up and go. So what I'm going to do is I'm prepared for that. Run and gunning to me is you're sitting there in the morning, you scouted out birds, you know that they're falling off the roost right here and they're getting hemmed up somewhere in between here and they're not coming to you. Either that or you're sitting there, well buddy, it's 10 o'clock, let's go to breakfast, and you hear that gobble. What are you going to do? You still going to go to breakfast? Heck no, you're going to go get that turkey. Like a couple weeks, and the thing about run and gun is you're going to be disappointed. It's going to bite you in the butt once or twice. It happens. I mean, that's part of it, And I mean, I'm not saying it's the only way to kill a turkey. I'm not saying my way is the best. I'm just saying that this is what I'm known for, and this is what I love to do. We'll take you back 2 years ago. Me and Joe here, we was hunting, and a group of birds. I knew they were landing here every day, and we set up right there. Well, them birds landed 300-400 yards out. They had 5 hens to each one of them, and you ain't calling that off. And so what we did is we're sitting there calling, and I'm hitting the box call, and we get a gobble way off back behind us. So what we do is we go and we set up, and it was my fault. I was too aggressive. What we should have done is I had this bird in a field gobbling, and I thought he went back into the woods, so I wanted to go to the woods to cut him off to kill him right there. But one of my rules of thumbs is turkey hunting, avoid the woods, because they can see a lot better than you can.
Oh, yeah.
What we should have done is we should have set up, stayed where we was when we moved when we moved to go get that gobbler because he was coming to us. We ended up spooking him.
Sometime entering
yeah.
the woods we spooked him because he was gobbling all the way up until we got set up.
Yeah.
Once we got set up in the woods, he quit. He totally shut up. When we left, we saw a strut line and everything on the outskirts of the woods, and he just picked us up and busted us. And same thing happened to me and my brother last year. We were hunting up in New Paris, and we had two toms fly down. They circled around us in the bean field. Well, when they got down to the creek bottom, they started working their way back up the hill. Well, we tried to exit out and come up in front of them. By the time we got out of the woods and got to the cornfield and up to the top of the ridge, they already beat us there. By the time we got up there, we saw them, and they saw us 10 minutes before we saw them because they were hightailing it out of there.
Yeah.
So, like you said, there's more failures than successes in a run and gun, but when you do it, it's phenomenal.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Because you actually had to chase down that bird and still interact with him and not spook him because it is such a harder tactic.
And I believe, your woodsmanship says a lot if you're a run and gun turkey hunter because, anybody can set up in a ground blind and play with a box call for a couple hours. I mean, more than likely, you'll probably get one come in just off curiosity. But I want it to be challenging.
You want the chase.
Yeah, I want the chase, man. I want, when I get done, I want to be sweating. I want to be saying, I earned that, boy.
Oh, yeah. Another thing is like you just talked about, there are people like to sit in the ground blind and call. If they're calling from a ground blind and the gobbler shut up and they don't feel like doing the run and gun, do they just need to pack up and leave, continue calling to that bird and see if he gobbles back, or wait a little bit and not do any calling? Or what would you say that would be the best option for somebody like that?
Well, one of my buddies is like that. Me and him started out running and gunning, and he likes to sit in that ground blind. And, you got to know the laws, when you can hunt, when you got to stop. Like here, we got to stop at 12 in the first half of the season. If they start gobbling at 9, which they do, sit there till 11:30, 12 o'clock, Don't set yourself up for heartbreak, though. Don't sit there till 11:59 and then get out your blind. Get out of there about 11:30 or something, because about 11:59 this big Tom's going to come, and you don't want to tempt yourself.
Oh, yeah. Don't want to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
That's about it on the tactics that we know, unless you know of anything else that you want to talk about.
Actually, I'm kind of new to the gobble call. I love it. It's you can go in the morning with this hoot owl, and just that's turkey hunt tradition, But what I found to be more successful to find a bird off the roost is this gobble call, and you're not going to pick this thing up and just be good at it. It takes a lot of practice, and this is the night and hailfire. And, it's good for a couple reasons. You can do that Jake yelp, just... And that'll drive that old gobbler crazy, And you can, early morning, if you're in real private property and no one's going to come up on you, you can get out there in the morning and gobble, just... And he's going to fire back at you, and even if you don't hear a gobble, just let one of them out. Just, or you can do a Jake gobble, and all that is, and that will really get on a gobbler's nerve if the old Jake's coming in talking some noise, and he's gonna come in and see you.
Now I know that we got these decoys set up behind us, and there was a couple questions that had come in asking about decoy setups. Now Matt talked earlier about not taking in that big Tom over there every time, because if you got a smaller turkey on the place that you're after, like a Jake or something, that might be too intimidating for that Jake to come in on.
Or even that big gobbler.
Yeah.
Even that big gobbler, he's gonna see that thing, and be like, I don't want nothing to do with that. Yeah. He's gonna avoid you. Decoys they'll hang up on decoys. It depends on where you're hunting at. My preference for decoy setup is opening day. I'm gonna have a breeding hen laying down, and I'm gonna have a lookout hen way off in the ditch, probably about 20 yards off. And I want, if I know my turkeys are coming from this way over, I want my hens looking that way. Because if them hens are looking at my gobblers, them gobblers going to hang up. Because them hens are supposed to come to that gobbler. You know, if your hens aren't facing him, he's going to, well, maybe she don't see me. And he's going to come around and give you a shot. So that's how you want to do that. But by saying that, if you have a Jake or a gobbler, you want him to face where them turkeys are coming from. Because eye contact on two toms or a tom and a Jake, and that Jake don't break or that tom don't break, the fight might be long.
That's what we all like to see too,
Yep.
is a fight out there.
Yep.
That's what everybody comes to see.
Poor old decoys.
But other than that, we had a couple questions come in about, yeah, we all got our best calls that we like to call in turkeys. And a lot of people just know the common yelp and the common cut. What's your suggestion on switching it up, like the cadence on the call when you're doing yelps and cuts?
Well,
keep a rhythm, or
you always have to keep a rhythm. If you see here, I got 4 mouth calls, and I'll carry all this in the woods with me. I got 4 mouth calls, a box call, and 2 slates. I only got 1 box call. I'm not a big fan of box call. You know, like if I go in one day and I'm okay, I do that and I get a turkey come in where I can't close the rest of the distance on him, I might take it out that second day. But that third day, I'm going to take out a different cut. You know, and then your third one, this is, this is a real low rasp call, and this is just, I'm trying to be a young hen on this one, so I'm not gonna be so aggressive with my calls. I'm just gonna you want to mix up. For each call, you should have a calling sequence. For like this red one, I like to be really loud, and I like to be really, really talkative, because that's essentially what this call is made for. If I'm in here with this call, I'm going. And with my green call, I think this is more of my all-around call. I'll have a different cadence. I'll maybe start with a cut. That's the best thing you can do is, listen to an old hen. Listen to video. Look at YouTube. They got videos of hens everywhere. Find 3 different videos. Copy their cadences.
That's another question that come in was, what do you do if you have a hen out there that's calling back to you? Because it happens to all of us. You get out there and start calling and cutting. Then off in the distance, you hear that hen cutting back at you. What do you want to do when that happens? Do you want to copy that hen? Mock that hen?
Because if she's got a tom with her, or I hear her cutting and I hear a tom gobbling right here, what you want to do, say, Joe, you do a sequence on yours. Joe's a live hen and I'm a hunter. All right. What I did is I talked over him. I got more aggressive, more excited, louder, and way more call. What that does is that's making that hen mad. And by doing that, I'm not calling to that gobbler yet. I'm calling that hen into me. I'm getting myself a live decoy, free of charge. Okay, and when I got that live hen in, see, she's cutting at me, and she's within 20 yards. I'm not being too aggressive. I'm keeping her interested. Now, if she goes to walk away,
now if they come in and she's out there in front of you, and she comes in and that live decoy is out there and she just starts purring.
Purr back. Just listen to her purr cadence, and if she's like, all you want to do is maybe throw in a cluck. And what that is that's going to keep her there. She's going to be interested, and her making them real noises that none of these calls can mimic, like she can, is going to bring that gobbler in.
And when they purr like that, doesn't that mean that they're actually getting settled down and getting in their comfort zone a little bit when they're out there in front of you? Yeah. And then that way, you know, if they're out there purring, that means they're comfortable. You ain't got to really worry too much about them. You just got to keep her interested and keep her around there. Because if you got decoys out there and you ain't got no purrs or nothing coming out, she's going to start to wonder, like, okay, why aren't these guys moving or making any noise or anything like that? She's going to start to wonder.
It's going to be kind of weird.
And then another thing that we all face too as turkey hunters is we always seem to have a predator show up. Coyote, dog, something like that, ruin your hunt. What do you do about that if they come in and ruin your hunt?
It depends.
I know we all want to take that coyote out, shoot the coyote, get rid of it.
If you got a mouth call in your mouth, man, they probably already scared that turkey off. Might as well kill it. What I like to do, say I'm running this one. This is usually the call I run anyway. What I'm going to do, if I got coyote come in, all right, I'm going to have my gun up anyway. And then if I can get shot off without making a call, that's what I'll do. But if he wants to come in a little bit, all I'm going to do is put the tongue in the top of my mouth and say, wee, wee, wee. That's just, I mean, it sounds horrible. It don't really sound like a rabbit in distress, but, I mean, at that point, he's already committed, so he might just come in the rest of the way. Or, just make a little sound like a little rodent or something.
Now, I know we're all wondering too, or they're all probably wondering, what else do you carry with your gear? What other things do you carry? I know you carry your box call, your pot calls, and your diaphragm. Yeah. What size shotgun shell do you use? You use a 12 gauge, don't you? Mm-hmm. And then what size shot and stuff do you use inside that shotgun?
I use a 5-shot. A lot of people use the 5-shot. Some people use 4s. I just like 5-shot patterns.
What's your range and stuff that you generally will shoot a turkey at if they're coming in, or you're running and gunning it, or what's your max that you think would be a comfortable distance to really make sure you get that good shot on that turkey to kill it?
45 yards.
45 yards. Now you use a red dot or a true low sight?
I use a red dot.
All right. Well, anything else you can think of? I know that we talked about yelping, cutting. Demonstrated the purr and kiki run on the mouth diaphragms for y'all. We showed a little bit about the box call and pop calls. One thing else that we can show here with the wet box call, Matt wants to demonstrate it, is cackle fly down. It's really, to me, it's really well to use on a box call like that, because you just hit that cut a couple times and you go real fast with it and make that fly down. And what Matt showed earlier, as you may be able to see it, is he took his hand and went like that. If you put a hat in your hand and put it down like this or anything to get that flapping noise, it's going to sound like a bird flying down. When you get down to the ground, you want to smack it to make it sound like that bird just hit the ground and landed on the ground. And that'll really get them going too, because birds like to be the first one on the ground and be the most dominant one, like Matt showed with the gobble call. If you ain't got one gobbling at you and you gobble with that thing, 90% of the time you're going to hear one back because that bird was late. There's another gobbler that just beat him to the punch, and he's going to be ticked off about it because someone beat him to the punch.
Yep, exactly. And another thing that flying down, I use a wing off a turkey I killed, and I like to take that wing and I'll scratch the tree behind me before I fly down. You know, it's just that get up. You know, you got to stretch out. But it just adds realism. It's just more realism to your setup is what it is, and you got it unless on a mouth call it's kind of hard to do that unless you got a buddy. You know, I said on a box call. On a box call it's hard to do that unless you have a buddy. You know, but a mouth call you can. But with a box call, you fly down cackle. You know, you want to just. You know, all you're doing is, if you watch, I'll go, put my hand down. 2. And that's all you're doing.
Another thing there is how he moved his hand from up here to down. He's simulating that call's coming from up higher, and then he's taking it down low to the ground to make sure that them birds think that, okay, one flew from the tree and got down because that sound level's changing.
Yeah, just more realism. You know?
I know that he holds a call like that with his thumb. Another way you can do it that he showed me a while back ago when I was learning is just take this call and just you just hold that paddle right there with your thumb and index finger and just a couple cuts and then fly down just like what he was doing that way. It's just whatever way feels best to you and whatever you feel comfortable with.
You know what? I got one more segment we need to cover. Location and scouting.
Oh yeah.
2 important things. I mean, everybody thinks turkey hunting, I don't need to go scouting. You know, deer hunting is what you scout for. No, turkey hunting is important. What I like to do personally is I'll go out with a box call. As I've said, I don't really like to use a box call when I'm hunting unless it's windy. I'll go out, you know, in the morning with a box call. I'll just you know, and then he'll fire back at me, you know, or, you know, I'll go out real early in the morning and just I'll fly down. And what that does is that tells that Tom there's a hot hen in my area, and when it comes time for season, you keep doing that and backing out, and he hears you go, all right, I'm going to get her this time. You do that. He's going to hear that and go, all right, I'm catching her this time. And then scouting, what I like to look for is footprints and droppings. Gobbler would be J-shaped droppings. And then their footprints, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry how to tell that. I mean, a gobbler's going to be significantly bigger than a hen.
A good thing to look for, too, is a roost tree. If you can find where they're roosting at and where they're traveling to in their travel line, if you can find that and you have that on your property, you're most likely going to be successful as long as you don't ruin that stand and don't make them scared of that spot. If you sneak in there, get in there and set up on their travel spot or whatever where them birds are used to going from that roost spot, and you can tell they'll wear down a path because they travel the same area a lot. They're similar to a deer because a deer will make a trail. They'll make a trail and go through there, and a turkey's almost the same way. They want to use that same path that they're used to, that they haven't ran into any predators or any trouble on, and they want to just be safe. That's what they want to be, just like deer. They want to be safe.
Exactly.
Once they get in the habit, they want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So.
And look at the side of the tree. There'll be turkey droppings everywhere, or feathers. That's another good way. And if you find the roost, don't set up on the roost tree. Set up no closer than 50 yards. I wouldn't even go 50 yards. I'm trying to get 75 at the closest. What you're going to do is, what they'll do is they'll fly down. Most generally, they're going to fly down, look for water. And then they're going to start, the hens are going to fly down first. Tom's doing it. They'll fly down, get water, go out to the fields and feed. And, you know, you can, pre-season, you can pick out where a Tom's, most likely that's going to be his strut zone. Now, if you can position yourself between his roost and his strut zone, and you're right here, you don't even have to call if you don't want to. If you say you can't run none of these calls, you don't have to.
Yeah.
He's going to come by you.
And that's where the pre-scouting comes into play too. And like Matt said, he uses that box call a lot out there pre-scouting. He won't pull that out in his arsenal when it comes to actual season time because he already got those birds used to that call out there pre-scouting.
Unless it's windy and I'm trying to locate them.
But with the wind, it echoes that call so bad and cuts that call so bad, it ain't going to sound like what he was out there doing during preseason.
Exactly.
Because it was a couple years ago we were out, and we used that in a mouth diaphragm that we weren't going to use during season. Called in 2 hens like 10 yards in front of us, and they just sat there, and we were just stranded. We were both on our stomachs because they were just right on the other side of the creek from us, and just cutting back and forth, and then all of a sudden they just moseyed their way off, but they got 10 yards from us, and I was just out there pre-scouting. And that just gets us to know that there was a couple aggressive hens out there trying to figure out what we were doing, calling from where we were calling from.
Yeah.
We were away from the pack, and they were trying to figure out where to go, where that bird was coming from. Matt hit the key run is what actually brought them into us, because they were hooked up on a ridgeline, on the other ridgeline. He hit that key run to make it sound like a lost bird. Yeah. And they come cruising right down along that creek bank, come right down to us.
Yeah.
But
we're wrapping up. Last little bit of advice I can give: never be too proud to ask for advice. You know, there's old timers that were killing turkeys before we had any of this stuff. I mean, on tube calls. You know, the tips I got mostly come from old timers. I've gotten so many tricks and stuff from old time turkey hunters that are tried and true. I mean, they'll put a bird down. And you just respect the landowner, respect each other. We're in this together. And God bless the service people. We got one on our pro staff, Justin Brandenburg, and me. We're blessed to be doing this, and we thank you guys. I mean, from the bottom of our hearts, we really do thank you guys for all the love and the support that we get from you day in and day out. Because this is what we love to do, and we're going to do it. But it makes it cooler to us knowing that we have people supporting us.
Oh yeah, and if it wasn't for you fans and our sponsors and everything, we wouldn't have this actually going on, because if we didn't have anybody liking our page, getting on our website, checking out our stuff, we wouldn't feel like we were doing any good to anybody, because we don't have nobody out there that cares what we're doing. But since we have so many people out there, that's why we wanted to start these OBOisodes and stuff, is to get out what we know, our knowledge. Yeah. We want to learn from you guys too. If you guys know something that we don't know,
exactly.
It's all about learning and sharing with others, and that's what it's all about. Like he said, it's a brotherhood for everybody that hunts, and that's why we want to do this kind of stuff, is to get our knowledge out there and learn.
Yeah. And if this grows, there's been talks of, if we get enough likes and stuff, we might just give away a hunt. We'll bring one of y'all down here and we'll go on a hunt together if we get big enough and we can, afford to do that through everything.
And another thing is with these OBOisodes that we started up, now we'll talk about this just for a brief second, is we like to get some of you guys even on the show. There's some people out there that have killed some monster bucks, some unique turkeys, any of that kind of stuff, duck hunting. We'd like to get you on here, even if you just want to call in and we put you on the speakerphone here on our phone, just to have you in here and talk about, what your hunt was like, what the day was like, and just talk about your hunt. And that way we can get more views and get more fans and stuff into this as well, and just not us sitting up here all the time talking. And later on, once it comes scouting time again, we'll have some turkey scouting videos. We'll have, once deer season gets here again, we'll start some deer pre-planning when it comes to mineral lick sites, trail cam spots, tree stand spots. We're going to try to get all that, and you guys send us in what you want us to talk about also. If you guys send us in discussion feed that you would want us to talk about on one of these shows, we'd be more than glad to.
I'm sorry, Jeff. Anything I didn't explain too good, let me know, and we'll love to get together and we'll go through it step by step for you, And if I did something wrong, let me know too, because I ain't too good to learn. If you got an old timer out there, I'll listen to you. That's what makes you a good turkey hunter.
Oh yeah, and like he said, if there's anything that you want to know, feel free to comment, send us a message, send us an email, whatever. On our Facebook page, we have our email. We have anything you want, we have now. We're on all social media now. Get us the comments, get us the questions, we'll answer them. If you can't meet with us or we can't demonstrate it to you in person, we'll be more than glad to send you another personal video to you, from our phone or something small. That way it's closer up to you that you can see, and that way you can learn it, because everybody's willing to learn, even us. So that's all we have for you. So stay tuned for our next episode, hopefully sometime next week or the following week.
Yeah. I'd just like to say thank you once again, and God bless, and may the good Lord be with you on your hunts, keep you safe, and get a kid in the outdoors, and thank a veteran. That's all I got to say, and I appreciate you stopping by. This is OBO signing out.